Hello again. This graphic equalizer seems to be working very well at the moment. I used this at the weekend as my DI interface, direct interface, or direct instrument interface straight into the amp at the weekend, straight through a PA. Worked fine. There's the settings I'm finding seem to work okay. So rather than enhancing any of the frequencies, I'm actually reducing frequencies. So there you go. And this is the cheap Glarry £40 electric violin. Seems to be working pretty well. I've had to put some furniture wax, just cheap furniture wax, spray a little bit on the neck. Bear in mind you mustn't get it on the strings down there, because if you do the bow won't grip. But on here it was a bit dry. You know, I'm not sure that this, I think this neck, this fingerboard actually may be solid ebony, because I've sanded the edges now to make it more comfortable because it was too sharp on the edges. And well, I've been sanding away and it's still black throughout, so it makes me wonder if it actually is ebony. How they managed to produce a violin this cost and use real ebony is beyond me. I've also sanded a little bit off the edge of the nut there because I found it a bit uncomfortable on my thumb when I was playing for a long period of time. So I kind of rounded pieces off just to make it feel more comfortable to handle. It's still got a way to go because it's slightly heavier than an acoustic violin. Not much though. I think that could be the fact that the cable is is weighing it down slightly. Anyway, the purpose behind this this video is to introduce you to another new tune. I read a comment this morning. I'm sorry I've forgotten who it was, but I did read a comment, because I do read your comments, about somebody took a lot of enjoyment from the fact that I post new tunes every now and then. I must do at least one or two a week actually, and this is a new one. This one is called the Rickety Scaffold, because if you've been following my channel you'll know that a couple of weeks ago I had to do some work on the roof, and I was lucky enough to borrow a scaffold tower, which was very useful but quite rickety. It was only flimsy, and I was up the top of this rickety scaffold in the wind and the rain. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this is a tune that I wrote a few days later, shall we say, to kind of remind me of that experience. So here we go. This is the Rickety Scaffold. Rickety Scaffold. Now what can I say about this tune? Well, of course it's all about the B section, isn't it? The A section is fairly, you know, it's not really, doesn't really stand out, I guess, but the B section, looks so easy, doesn't it? But actually it's really, really hard. And anybody who's just developing their fiddles playing skills, their violin playing skills, I think is going to find that B section quite a challenge. So we need a dodge, we need a way to make it easier to play. And I think this might work. So did you see what I did there? Instead of trying to flip between the two strings, because that's quite hard going between the two. So what I simply just did was play both strings simultaneously. And you haven't got to keep going backwards and forwards until, of course, you've developed the skill level and you can do that. So I just thought it's worthwhile pointing out these little dodges, really, because I remember how hard it was to learn to play the fiddle when I first started playing many years ago. A couple of things I should say about this violin. I have now changed the strings. I found the strings that came with it a little bit squeaky. Yeah, I was hearing the squeaks. I don't think anybody out when I was playing across a PA was actually hearing the squeaks, because of course with the violin stuck right under your face you're hearing very much what's coming off the top of the instrument, and I could hear these kind of squeaks and I found that annoying. So a couple of weeks ago I bought some new dominant strings for my main violin, my main acoustic violin, and I replaced I took the Parastro Tonica strings that I use most of the time. I use the medium ones with a ball end. I use those most of the time. I took those off the fiddle and put them in a packet and thought, well, they're going to be handy to use as a spare. And sure enough, that's what I put on here now. I've used it on this fiddle, and it seems to have improved the situation. I don't seem to be getting those squeaks now. But yeah, and I'm using another cheap bow that came with one of my other electric violins. I'm not using the actual bow that came with the instrument, although having said that, there's nothing wrong with this bow. No, nothing wrong with that bow at all, really, just a fraction heavier. So I just thought, oh, I might just as well use that one. Lots of these eBay violins come with a bow, and yeah, quite a few of them, they play all right. You just need to work them in a bit and get used to playing them. And I'm quite used to being quite heavy-handed, so I'm not a very light-handed violin player or fiddle player. So for me, I can more or less use anything, just a lump of wood with a few bit of horsehair strung between the two ends, and away I go. But anyway, so yeah, so what am I doing? I'm just giving you a little little update on a new tune, and hopefully you'll find this fun to play. What am I currently working on? I'm currently working on putting together a set of Christmas tunes. The big issue I've got at the moment is quite a few of the Christmas tunes we all know and love are actually copyrighted, so I can't use them, but there's quite a fair few that aren't, so I'm putting together a nice set of tunes once again for a performance before Christmas. So I'll try and get that on YouTube as soon as I possibly can, with the musical notation, because I know that you enjoy playing along with these videos. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. No, but there we go. I hope you enjoy this tune, the Rickety Scaffold. I've now returned the scaffold, by the way, so there's no chance of me falling off and breaking my arm or something. And yeah, see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.